GSL. My conscience is telling me.
Welcome back to the GSL Code S Round of 16 Group D. We are up to our final match here. It is going to be Flash versus GuMiho, another TBT. It's been the night of TBTs here, Wolf.
That it has. That and Parting getting stomped, going out 0-4, finishing the group in last place. And we talked about how sometimes when you go into a group with only one matchup in mind, you can keep thinking about one build, the build that you like the most, and kind of get stuck into it if you start to lose. And I think that's kind of what we saw from Parting. Just having some interesting decision making. But now we're going into our final match between Flash and GuMiho, and you and I have different predictions. I was predicting GuMiho to join Innovation. You were predicting Flash, so that makes this a little bit more exciting, I feel. I'm happy either way. If GuMiho gets through, it's a great finish for him, at least making top 8. And for Flash, it would be his first top 8 ever. So I would love to see GuMiho get a finals. I'm watching this guy, casting this guy. I was his teammate once when I very first moved to Korea. I was on the team Epics Open along with him. You know, I've been close friends with him for a while, but he just has not performed this well in quite some time.
This music is epic getting into the final match. So much tension building up for this last one. Coda, Cactus Valley, Vonnie Research Station, no Iron Fortress.
Yeah, it's banned.
First ban.
First ban. Terraform banned as well. A lot of people banning this versus GuMiho specifically, except Parting. Parting did let it go through. It was game 1. Expedition lost and Echo ban means we are going to go Coda, Cactus, and Vonnie. And again, greed is the name of the game for Flash, but GuMiho is all about pressure and aggression, not as passive as Innovation.
Let's see if Flash can really adapt to GuMiho's style here, or is GuMiho just going to steamroll him? Let's go into game number 1 on Coda.
HOT6 GSL 시즌 3.
Up here in the top left, in the red, return player.
KT Rooster Flash.
Wearing the red of KT.
That's right. He winked at me. Down to the bottom right. Blue.
MVP GuMiho.
Shares sponsors with our tournament.
Energy up, power, HOT6.
Yes.
Says even if he misses the last train,
He's okay with team kill or something like that. I couldn't quite read the end of that, but he's okay with it ends. He says if the train ends, he said chokta, like that's good.
he doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
This can go all night. And we'll just keep watching.
That's right.
We'll be here.
We'll be here. I'm not leaving.
It is our duty.
I'm like, no, last train's coming up, Valdez. You got to finish this. See you later.
You just do a backflip off the balcony and just run out.
I just like pull out the escape rope.
And what, you like go up?
Yeah.
You go up to like the top floors and do something else?
Somehow I ended up in a Pokemon Center right after I did it. And it's like
It's funny how that
funny.
works,
Yeah.
right?
Well, we are going to see quick gas for GuMiho, much more normally timed gas for Flash. And GuMiho is the only player probably that I can really think of in recent times who's won a TBT match with Bio in the late game on a big map. Obviously, he won it kind of on the back of interesting battlecruiser tech as well, but it was still Bio. Like, when you go BCs off of Bio, it's like you didn't win with mech or you didn't win with BCs, you won with Bio and smart transitioning, because he also won the majority of those fights. He killed his opponent's 31 Vikings with Bio, not with BCs, not with his own Vikings, sometimes with a little bit of Raven action, but it was really smart play. So that's another facet of GuMiho's play that Flash has to keep in mind, and he definitely has to continue to scout.
It's a very fun style for me. You keep the mech on 4 bases max. I guess even then it's like not so great, but Iron Fortress is really like the one map in the pool where it's quite nice to go for it. Maybe like Terraform as well wouldn't be so bad because the 4th base is quite far away from the 3rd, But if the mech and Terran can get up to like 4 or 5 bases, that mech is going to be even that much more stronger. But if you can consistently pressure him and, you know, keep sniping refineries, at least keep him to 4 while you like mass expand, and then eventually just get so far ahead that you can make that transition and he can never really move too far out of his base, then you are just going to win the game without mech. It's a very fun style.
8 barracks as well, you know, that was the cool part because he got that up super fast. He was so confident that he could actually hold those. He had no fear whatsoever. In this specific game, we are going to have a fast drop from GuMiho. And Flash has not scouted anything this game. No scans, no Reaper, no move out of his base. So he has no inkling whatsoever what is coming. Now a Raven will come out here, but it's not going to be very useful against a Hellion drop. Well, you know what? Okay, for a second I was like, is he not going to get a Raven? It's going to be a CCU before so, up on the high ground. And GuMiho will be looking to add his shortly as well, but with pressure first.
I'm not sure how much this is going to get done. He needs to break that ramp first and foremost here. And it really depends on the positioning of the Marines here for Flash. He needs to block the Hellions. But with the drop coming in as well, he's going to be coming from 2 angles. This could be hard to stop.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So far, it looks like it's a really good position for GuMiho. He's going to use that SCV again to kind of push his way up the ramp. Comes in here, the Marines lining up a little bit here, and down comes the drop. And he's got healing power on that. And a Raven here is going to drop an auto turret, but that could just be avoided.
And look at all these SCVs awkwardly trying to go back. Auto turret goes down, and now there's a Raven with no energy. He's got to try to somehow surround this. Maybe get out a Banshee. 1 Hellion coming out.
Yeah, 1 Hellion getting a really great shot here. He actually targets the Raven with those Marines, interestingly enough. Now going to drop these Marines into the fray. That 1 Hellion could get so much damage done. It's got 2 health left.
And Widowmine now coming in for Flash. But
oh, if he could targets, he could actually do so much more with this 1 Marine. No joke. Like, these Marines, or these SCVs are in the red.
Oh, look at this. Gonna drop it in between. This is almost
GG!
GG. That's it. It's too much pressure, too much damage.
GuMiho, like I said, he is not going to play passive. He is not going to let you sit back and do your own thing. You don't scout versus this guy, he will kill you. He just did. That's it.
Yeah. Flash needed a bunker or some other kind of units. That was extremely greedy to go for, I think it was like 4, maybe 5 Marines with the Raven with only enough energy to put down an auto turret, which isn't that tanky. And then he gets a CC behind that as well. He got like the highest tech as well as going for a greedy economy build, and he kind of just hoped that GuMiho wouldn't kill him.
The thing is, because part of this, really, if you want to get super technical, everything you said is correct, but to like get even more technical, if he had positioned his Marines in a better place, he could have held it, but he couldn't do that without knowing what he was up against. If he puts some Marines at the top of the ramp and a Banshee comes in, he takes way too much damage because he also doesn't have a turret. And if he puts his Marines all the way back in the mineral line because he assumes it's a Banshee, then everything gets in. So he kind of had this in-between, and he wasn't able to stop the Hellion from just doing mass damage. The auto turret got focused down instantly. May have even placed that too early. Might have wanted to put that in the mineral line instead to repair it and keep that alive.
I wonder if a Banshee would have worked out a bit better as well instead of a Raven.
He had a Banshee on the way and Cloak. Everything he did was insanely greedy. It just wasn't enough. And now GuMiho's on match point. 1 win away from joining Innovation. And what is his best GSL performance in a long time.
You can see GuMiho in that booth. Looks really happy, kind of bouncing around. You know, he's ready to get into this second match. I'm sure he feels great after that first one. A very quick one. But the next map is going to be Cactus Valley, a very big map. Wouldn't be surprised to see one of these longer games coming in here.
I think you're right. I would love to see Bio again from GuMiho. It would make me so happy just to see him try it.
Yeah. Position's also going to become a factor. GuMiho fanning himself off. He's too hot right now. He is on fire, looking to end this one, get that second win on Cactus Valley. Our very big map. Map is loaded up. Let's jump into game number 2 right now between Flash and GuMiho.
HOT6 GSL 시즌 3.
Down here in the bottom right, in the red, the God Terran is
KT Star Flash.
Gotta do those Location hotkeys. Tape the keyboard down. Wink at Wolf. Up here to the top left. Cross spawns.
MVP GuMiho.
GuMiho's team history quite complicated. Starting on the clan FOU, then the team FOU, then going into FX Open, then going back to FOU when FX Open disbanded and was remade as FOU, and then the first time he switched teams was going to CJ Antis, where Coach Park took care of him when the booth collapsed on him, and he finds his home on MVP, where he's now having the best time he's ever had in Heart of the Swarm career-wise, a great record in Pro League, and now potentially getting a top 8 spot in the final season of GSL.
It's going to be really interesting for either of these Terrans if they get out, because they have to play against Biol in the round of 8. Probably the hardest opponent out of anyone in that round of 8. You could say maybe Classic. You got Rogue and Maru up there as well. Deer kind of that dark horse. We'll see how he does. Zest also, the other guy there.
This round of 8 is way better than last season's round of 8 of GSL. This is like better than the Star League round of 8 in this season, in my opinion, as well. It's really stacked. And sometimes you can see a better picture because Star League finishes first. You can see who's in the round of 8 and who's really performing based on their Star League results and be like, oh my god, look at all these people in the round of 8 GSL. They already did so well in Star League. Deer is crazy to see him in top 8, and I'm really hoping he does well. Reaper for
He's got a
GuMiho.
PvP versus Classic, so we'll see how that goes.
It's going to be tough. Classic just beat Hero in a PvP, and Hero just beat Rain in a PvP, so if you think about that, chances are slim.
Is Deer really up there at the upper echelons of that PvP kind of circle?
Check this out. He's going to go for a Reaper into CC, late factory. This is really cool. This is the type of play I thought Flash was going to do on this map earlier. I thought he was going to actually take a risk like this, but he did not. Ended up just doing a fast factory tech. But GuMiho is going to, very early on, grab a CC, and Flash is going to be the one who plays a lot more safe again here. And GuMiho now getting a very delayed factory, but at cross spawns here, even the fastest possible Banshee isn't going to find much damage.
Yeah, GuMiho is going to be happy that they're at cross spawns, for sure. Flash going for, very heavy units here in the beginning, just a lot of Reapers, some Hellions into a command center. Only took 1 gas this time, so no Ravens, nothing like that. Just looking to get map control. It's a very big map. I like the build.
This really favors GuMiho, because he got a faster CC and played greedy, but Flash took a very safe, faster CC, but there's no pressure coming on whatsoever. He can position his own defensive Reaper just to make sure everything's okay. Losing this SCV is kind of annoying, but that's all it is. And the Reaper on the high ground now to intercept. Oh, he misclicked it though, and that actually could cause Flash to win this fight, just barely not.
Battle of the Reapers. Get some damage down. Maybe he can come in with this other Reaper and his Hellion. It's 2 Reapers right now and a Hellion to 1 Reaper and a Hellion. But of course they do have the high ground. 2 Marines popping out too. Should be able to hold this, but let's see.
Just a little jumping up and down with these Reapers. Holds on. Starport's finishing up around the same time, as it turns out. GuMiho actually with even a slight lead of that Tech Lab production here now. Probably see Flash grab a Raven, and GuMiho just going to grab 1 single Viking, and the reactor is staying on the factory for increased Hellion production, so he can actually control the middle of the map, the watchtower, and possibly even take a 3rd base in the near future. He's getting that safety eBay, but no Marine production means no bio, sadly.
Yeah, and he's actually going to go for a Banshee here with Clove. Kind of interesting. Maybe he's suspecting that GuMiho would expect a Raven to come out here, more passive play from Flash, who may want to transition into more of that passive mech style. But going to have a big presence on this map with those Banshees, and look at this, sneaking a Reaper in. Going to see everything.
Yeah. Can't see that GuMiho was supply blocked for a second there, but
you can't really see why kids love the taste of cinnamon Toast Crunch either.
oh man, I did not see that coming.
Snuck that one in there.
This is a really good trade for GuMiho, by the way. But if he loses his...
Oh, that lineup.
Oh, man. The Banshee comes out. He's definitely going to lift that Viking up. When a Banshee kills a Viking, you know things have gone wrong.
Just going to kind of awkwardly repair it here. Like, what do I do?
It's just a mineral sink here for GuMiho with limited cost. 2 turrets going to finish up at home for GuMiho as well. So,
oh, this is so annoying. This is actually frustrating me. Finally, the cloak comes out.
He continues the pressure. A second Viking arrives as well, and there's no anti-air here for Flash whatsoever, so you can actually just chase down and kill this Banshee with a scan. If he doesn't have a scan, you can just keep chasing it and maybe even camp the starport after this. Flash is even making an additional Banshee right now, which I find interesting.
It's going to be Banshee.
Oh god, can he actually like split and follow both Banshees? I don't think so.
That's incredibly hard to pull off, for sure. And actually, both Banshees do get away. And there's going to be a third Banshee on the map. He's playing heavy, like, Maru style here, bringing it back.
3 turrets already up on the map, though. 1 to protect the mineral lines and 1 to protect the production. He's also got additional Vikings. I think this will find limited damage. But if GuMiho's not willing to scan, then he will take some damage, at the very least. And there's that greedy third.
Notice how all that pressure that GuMiho had on the map with those 4 Hellions at the front door of Flash's base, they have to go back. There's too many Banshees out. He had to focus on trying to catch them and just defending his main and natural mineral lines instead. So this is going to get Flash so much map control to the point where he can take a very greedy third base on this gigantic map at cross spawns.
Yeah. 2 armories coming up for GuMiho faster. And the CC is moving up. But that's the barracks actually scouting this. And here comes this Banshee. Going to get into turret vision. He has to find another angle. 2 Vikings about to pop out as well, so I think he's just going to wait for another opportunity to come back in later. And that's the best thing to do.
Kind of like Oracles, you know? If you can save them for the later game, they just swoop in at like a 4th base and you're like, whoa, 3 cloaked Banshees, I forgot to make a turret. Goodbye, mineral line, you know?
Exactly.
Instead of just throwing in a Banshee, trying to like desperately get 1 SCV kill in, you know, a field of missile turrets and Vikings and stuff like that, you might as well just save them.
Or if you're defending a push, or there's a weird lineup of siege tanks, and suddenly you like figure out he doesn't have any scans. You send 1 Banshee and he doesn't have any scans. You're like, oh, now I've got 3 Banshees. I'm going to kill some tanks before you're able to. You either have to unsiege and retreat, or you're going to take too much damage. Okay, we're going to have a little fight here with the Hellions. Flash, with having this Banshee with his Hellions, is definitely going to be favored. An interesting choice to land that. I guess to save it versus these Vikings, but he's going to lose this. He has 2 more factors on the way already, but can't say I agree with this choice. Don't know what else to say about it. Going to cost him a lot of time on additional factories, and he's going to have to rebuild that.
There's 1 Hellion that came in here and scouted the 3rd base. Nice timing on that. GuMiho's got his own orbital now landed at his 3rd base.
You know, 9 Vikings to 6 currently. GuMiho has the lead. But
he's very down in army supply.
Yeah, there's a much larger ground army here for Flash, as well as these Banshees that are in the mix. And they're going to do a lot of extra damage to the Hellions before the Vikings can. Yeah, before Vikings do anything. He needs to scan. You're absolutely right. There's a siege tank here as well, and this mineral line is going to get decimated if he does not scan. He's got scans available. Flash wins the Hellion fight, and he can actually just turn right around and find some more damage.
And all the Banshees do go down. But third base no longer mining here, forcing a gigantic pull, and 9 SCVs have gone down. Vikings have to land to try to defend against this, but already 4 tanks outside the natural.
GuMiho could just simply fall over and die here. Trying to split the Vikings. Taking a lot of damage. 2 more tanks on the way back home for Flash. 1-1 upgrades will finish here for GuMiho's Vikings. But these are still Vikings.
Slowly moving in the tanks. Doesn't want to be too aggressive about this. Flash landing 2 of his own Vikings.
I'd love to see him send 1 Hellion over to the 3rd base, because that is still mining. Tank mode tank even doing some serious damage to these Hellions. Repairs on all the Vikings.
I'm actually not sure if he noticed that 3rd base. That's a good point.
Yeah, I think he should. I mean, he knew it was there. Oh, look at this. He's going to drop Hellbats on top of this to try to break this. GuMiho broke Innovation earlier trying to escape, but it looks like this is going to be a different story. GG.
It's going to game number 3. will be the final game of the night, but it is going to decide who is moving on to the round of 8. A very crucial point here.
The final match. Get your friends in here. Flash is going to call his mom. Like, look, I'm in game 3. They went to go grab the payphone because cell phones are not allowed in the GSL. All right, I'm tweeting this right now.
Tweet it. Do it. I see you typing it. You got
I'm typing it right now.
GuMiho looks really stressed. He's gone down in 1 best-of-3 by winning the first game and then losing 2 in a row. He does not want to do that again. He does not want to lose the position he's gotten over these 2 very strong Terran players. It's one of the worst ways to lose a series, is getting ahead early and then just losing a bunch in a row. It's kind of like you're losing your grip on a win that you feel like you've basically almost already gotten. Biting his nails now. Not too happy with this, as is very obvious. But also probably thinking about what he's going to do for this last game. It is going to be Bonnie Research Station.
That's right.
Map number 3.
It all comes down to this. Final set.
Oh, we got the epic music back.
2 Terrans. Started off with 3. There can only be 2. Parting is out. Went 0-4. Not take a single map, but everything has been different for these Terran players. They've had hard-fought series. Both of them have actually already played against Innovation. Every Terran played against every other Terran. We got the full circle, the full triangle, if you will, of this matchup.
This is the way it's supposed to be every time.
We saw Innovation's technicality, Flash's greed, and decision-making for economy, and GuMiho's aggression and bio. We've seen little pieces of everything, and now it all comes down to Bonnie Research Station, the final map. A very quick timing attack win for GuMiho in Game 1. In Game 2, Flash is just able to play better, get more damage done with his harassment, with a good timing attack in the 3rd. But this game is the last and final game that will decide who is moving on.
The countdown has started to get into game number 3. I was voting for Flash, you were voting for GuMiho. At this point, I feel like it could be either one of these players. Flash saw Innovation take down GuMiho on this map. We'll see if he brings some of that into this game. Let's jump into the game right now. Game number 3 on Bonnie Research Station.
HOT6 GSL 시즌 3.
Up here in the north, in the red, our Terran player, he is
KT로 StarCraft.
Wants his first GSL top 8. And his opponent to the bottom in blue, the Towel Terran.
MVP GuMiho.
Wants to deny him that finish. GuMiho doing the best he has in years, the best he's ever done in Heart of the Swarm right now. His Pro League record. And the win here would bring him to the top 8 of the GSL. A lot of prize money on the line with his jump up out of the group stage. And I feel like GuMiho is actually kind of better overall when he can prepare for one matchup than preparing for a group. So even getting out of this would be better. The same to be said of Flash. A lot of people say that Flash's weakness in StarCraft II, the reason why he didn't do well in individual leagues compared to Pro League, was because he could not prepare well for a group stage scenario, and this would be the first time he ever gets out of a group in the GSL, where he can prepare for specific opponents like the old days of the OSL and MSL, where he had incredible results, you know, in like 2008 to 2010.
That's a good point. I think if Flash gets to this next one, he is going to be against Biel, but again, I mean, Biel probably the strongest Zerg in Korea, in the world right now, I'd say. A guy who was able to break Innovation's mech over the course of 7 games. So when you think about that, you know, Flash and Innovation, they definitely have their quirks. They have different styles in mech. But maybe Flash will be able to better identify Biel. I mean, he's been around for so long. He's used to these kinds of formats, as you were saying. And that is going to be a really interesting best of 5 if it does get to it.
Yeah. It's going to be great no matter what. It's just that it depends on who you want to win. You want Flash to win, get his first top 8, most popular StarCraft II player, or cheering for GuMiho. And actually seeing a lot more support for GuMiho on my Twitter. People really wanted him to do well.
He's such a fun player. I mean, just this kind of very aggressive style that he plays with.
2 Reapers in this game, for example, already starting it off.
He makes the game just, I don't know, just very fun to watch, this player, for sure. I'm definitely a fan.
All right, Reaper battle. It's hard to say who got the first shot. Looks like Flash, even if he either didn't or he's not confident that he did or not, gonna back off.
But we've seen this happen before, especially when Terran player does go for this reactor, goes for some add-ons. If you commit to 3 Reapers and your opponent is out of position, doesn't realize, that can do a significant amount of damage early on in the game.
Let's see if GuMiho brings the SCV again. There's an SCV coming across the map. He did this exact same thing versus Innovation on this map, but he sent the SCV with the Reapers, and it didn't work out. This time he's swinging the SCV around all the way to the left side. Could even be for a hidden starport, for example. Let's wait and see. The Reapers will help protect that that SCV, if so, and deny scouts.
That would be awesome. That would be like so crazy to do in a game 3 as well. Looks like he's just sticking back at home, not going to push it. Flash at this point, he does have 4 Marines and a Reaper, so
he's just going to go for a delayed scout here, and Flash is going to have no idea. He's going to come in here, he's going to see the reactor.
Wow.
And he like makes a depot to block Tech Lab. He's like, ah.
This is the worst feeling, actually, early on in the game. When an SCV just strolls right in like he owns the place. He's like, hey, what do you got going on here? Oh, nice backdoor base. It's cool to see the timing of that.
3 Reapers do eliminate this, but they are scouted. And they're probably not going to find any damage at this point with Hellions and Marines out. But if you can keep the Hellions off GuMiho's back, that's one thing. Plus,
or if Flash wants to check this line of sight block.
Oh, no!
He's going to do it.
He's going to do it.
Oh.
Goodbye, Hellions.
Well, at least one of them, yeah. Going to take a bunch of damage here. Never.
The golden rule, never check a watchtower that's on the other side of the line side blocker if you don't know what's there.
Or if you are a fan of giving away free units as well, it's something you may want to go for.
Obviously, I make this joke a lot, but it's sometimes you just have to do it, because if he doesn't check the watchtower, then what is he just going to avoid it, you know, or just assume there's something there when he doesn't know? Like, he's not going to scan for it, but it just means the player who controls the watchtower obviously has this inherent advantage. Both players are going cloak, by the way, for Banshees, and there's not going to be any Ravens on the map. Neither player having an eBay just yet, but GuMiho gets one.
I would hope that GuMiho this time around with his eBay makes a couple of turrets just to be safe. I don't want to see him skimp on that again and lose 22 SCVs, because that's how we lost game 3 to Innovation.
Yeah. Scans for both parties, seeing the cloak, and Flash gets his own eBay, of course. Was that on this map? It wasn't, right? It was. I think it was on Echo, I believe, where that happened.
The Banshees? No,
yeah.
It was this map.
It was this map? Okay.
And GuMiho is going to commit to 3 turrets this time. I like it.
Yep. Flash only 1, 2 now, and the Viking. Hellions coming across the map for Flash as well. Might actually run into that Banshee. Here comes Flash's Banshee into the natural. Trying to find some damage there. Turret is ready, but there's no Viking. This is a problem. Already several kills, 3.
Just going to pick that up.
Look at this. The CC is so late, and actually, his Reapers will delay it. Not only that, they should be able to get a few more kills as well.
Yeah, you get some units out of position, and 3 Reapers can really ransack that mineral line.
Yeah.
Already 3 of them going down. Banshee is back here, as well as the Banshee of GuMiho looking for damage in the back door.
Man, killing Marines, even getting one more SCV on his way back. Serious damage here.
Looks like the Banshee went down.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because that was not enough kills to make that worth it.
He was micring 3 different places at the same time, so kind of hard. Banshee looking for some damage, pokes a tank.
GuMiho's had 3 CCs for longer, so his worker count is 6 up right now. He's getting the double armory first, just like in the previous set. He didn't survive long enough to really utilize that, but I do like it if you can get a slight tempo advantage. GuMiho with only the 1 Banshee, whereas Flash Still has his remaining, still alive, I should say. 4 kills on it. Third CC coming down faster for GuMiho. He's got the better worker count, so he's going to have the better saturation. Just slightly, but these things matter. Flash has not moved his down. He is moving across the map with Hellions, but GuMiho's got a siege up. Yeah. 2 tanks to 1, in fact, in GuMiho's favor.
Looks like Flash, does he even have any Vikings on the map? Maybe like 1 or 2?
1 to 6.
Yeah, he's committing pretty heavily to just some tanks on the ground as well as some Hellions.
He's really committed to the Hellions. He's got 9 Hellions on the map. GuMiho only has 1, but
he's not making really any air units at this point.
I'd be a bit scared of these Hellions, though. If I were GuMiho, I'd be like, oh, I probably need to keep these Vikings back in case I need to land them to defend. But if he's got a tight setup here with all 3 bases, the Hellions are basically useless, and GuMiho has the much better composition overall. And he has air control, which is always going to be important in this matchup. Now, we do see a 4 Hellion drop attempt. It will be scouted by the barracks on the right side, but there's no real turret set up here, and I don't know if GuMiho noticed because he doesn't have any units at his natural. Totally empty over there.
Yeah, just going to drop straight in, and this is definitely going to pull GuMiho out of position. The rest of Flash's units are going home, but look at this. Line it up. Blue Flame finishes well.
He's going to actually kill so many, and GuMiho is not reacting very well.
No, he's
12 kills.
He's trying, and one of those Hellions was over there, but not doing much. They will eventually go down here, but 13 kills.
Could get more. GuMiho not reacting again.
Lining them up, trying to dodge the 1 SCV. Gets another kill.
He's going to get even one more at least.
And it's still alive, and GuMiho still hasn't dealt with it. Oh, this is unbelievable.
GuMiho is taking way too much damage here. Multitasking, failing him really hard. And the thing is, he should have seen that medevac with the barracks. There's really no excuse here. It's not like some amazing, crazy play Flash pulled off. He just simply didn't see it. He didn't react quickly either. GuMiho going for that 2 Thor play. We see him do this a lot when he's up against small siege tank counts, and he sometimes even uses them in conjunction with medevacs. Now, he's going to be ahead in upgrades. He's going to have 1-1 upgrades versus just the +1 of Flash. And if he goes into 2-2, this is going to start to snowball very quickly. And it's very important to have the upgrade lead, especially for air control with the Thors and the Vikings. He also has his own Blue Flame nearly finished. It's going to help him defend these Hellions if he sees them, if he reacts to them. There's another drop coming around to the bottom left currently, where he's got a few tanks and Thors. 1-1 finish now.
I think we are going to be transitioning into a bit more of a later game. I don't feel like, even after Flash gets 17 kills, he can't really kill GuMiho at this point. He hasn't gotten that much of a lead just yet. He's going to come back in here and look for some more kills.
And he's going to get them. These Hellions just suiciding into trying to get some kills. More and more SCVs going down. 11 more perish. Perhaps even more than that by friendly fire. Flash does trade a lot of these Hellions, but he made them useful. You know, we were talking earlier about why does Flash not have that many tanks? Where did his money go? What did he spend it on? He spent it on Hellions, which if you can't find damage, obviously isn't going to be as good as tanks, Vikings, and Banshees and other useful units, Thors. But if you find this much damage, then it's absolutely worth it. He's now up nearly 20 Harvesters at 72 to 54.
Yeah. GuMiho, where at sometimes in this game seems like he's falling apart a bit in terms of his multitasking, Flash is more on point than ever. I have to say, this guy just doesn't stop. He's so used to it at this point. Now Scan's going down. He sees the number of tanks. Not sure if he saw the Vikings, but Flash has even taken the Viking lead at this point as well.
Yeah, 11 to 8. Did have to cancel that gold base. It was a bit opportunistic to try to take that.
Yeah, start like 17 CCs in your main first and then go for that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
just lift one over there, man. GuMiho's going to take his own. There's one thing that Flash is just not afraid to do is dump those minerals into CCs.
Yeah, he was floating about 1K, but then he's like, oh, wait, I play Terran, I can just do this. And he does it.
Scan on the watchtower this time, by the way. Check that out. That's what your mother would want.
Yeah. Always be safe. Don't go too far into those bushes.
You know, don't leave home without your 50 energy on your orbital.
Or your Pokedex. Want to keep that on you.
Get the town map.
Yeah.
Now, this drop of 4 Hellions again could do massive damage. 4 Hellions of Blue Flame is a scary thing in any matchup in any mineral line.
Especially on this map. I mean, this is where you're going to find the majority of the damage. Oh, targeting too well, but another lineup here. 7 kills. Could find a bit more, but again, not the best target. Been unfortunate there.
I think it was pretty worth it, though. He's continuing to keep that worker lead. He doesn't have a 4th base yet, so it actually doesn't matter. It sounds so funny to say this, but until you have a 4th base to saturate, you're just oversaturated with this many SCVs, so it doesn't matter yet that he has this lead, but it might. It means GuMiho has to replace these, which costs money. And also right now, GuMiho is about 10 to 15 army supply ahead because he doesn't have those SCVs. So just some things to keep in mind.
Does he have the 2 upgrades right now
yes,
as well?
He does.
Flash only has +2.
No armor whatsoever.
Weapons. Yep.
Denying this base as well, whereas GuMiho does have that 4th secured as a planetary at the gold base, and he's got 3-3 on the way.
Needs to take those gases. Floating a lot of minerals, but that should be, you know, step number 1 for your 4th base, for sure. GuMiho now moving into position, wants to heavily deny this 4th base.
I feel like he just needs to make sure he doesn't overcommit. That's how he loses this game. He's got a huge upgrade lead, and he's got an econ lead. Oh man, this is not the way to do it.
Oh, he's just running in.
It's almost like he wanted to get more tanks or something. He's like, all right, let me get rid of this Thor. That was just a terrible way to engage. Hellbat drop squad heading over to the left side of the map. Looks like he's going to re-rally that, reroute that. This orbital, or rather, I guess it's just a command center, will be taken out by Vikings, it looks like. And another engage over on the right side of the map. This could be huge. Over on the right side of the map, there's a huge fight over here. Tanks lining up to siege up on this base. And a big Viking fight. The Thor's not able to help out, so Flash will win the air control.
Does win the air control. He needs to get some tanks over there into position, though, to deal with that.
Yeah,
Look at this giant tailbat drop into that back door.
I don't know if this is going to be the right choice, though, because he has nothing to protect these medevacs with. And now these tanks are going to get stuck in here. And his tanks that he has nearby are not really supporting. In fact, they're not accomplishing much at all. It just does kill one factory. Flash is really panicking about this, though, and attacking straight down that ramp.
Yeah, he's just running Unit 10. He will eventually be able to break this.
It's being very cost inefficient about it, though. He doesn't have very many other bases, so I guess that's the reason why he does actually have to do this for once. All the other TVTs we've seen from him, very different story. And oh no, he's just going to drop Hellbats on top of these tanks. Could this be GuMiho's moment? He's got 2-2 on these Thors from behind, doing so much extra damage. Flash dropping in supply, but he looks like he will survive for now.
Barely surviving there.
Oh, the Hellbats want to finish off that one tank.
They will get it, but more tanks coming in from the main. GuMiho has a lot of tanks rallied across the map, but not much else to support.
He needs to save these units. He needs to get back and hang on. Flash has a lot of extra orbitals, so
Flash needs a 4th base, man. He still has not taken it.
yeah, but he's hanging on, and he's got a big bank. His macro is actually slipping a little bit. He lost a factory too, so that's another thing. He lost that factory, so that cuts into his production quite a bit. But GuMiho has this bank with his gold base to reproduce units, and he needs to continue with his 3-3 upgrades. It's going to be 3-3 to 2-0 right now.
Finally getting +1 armor here is Flash, but that's still a while away. And he is trying to take the other 4th base, but GuMiho very smartly is looking to deny that. Get a nice position with his tanks.
GuMiho knows that Flash is, he's always fighting with his tanks, often in bad positions where they're not all together. So these Thors are really helpful against this type of situation. Especially if the tanks are in tank mode, Thors are obviously going to wreck that fight. Forcing a lift here and just going to walk away. He's up now, 20 supply. Yeah.
Keeping on the pressure at all times. He denied the attack of the gold base, and now he's going to try to attack Flash's gold base.
Look at this, 3-3 Hellbats can fight tanks like this easily. And look how many Viking shots it took to take out that medevac even.
Big oversight by Flash to not go for too many upgrades here in this game, for sure.
He's actually just going to go ahead and fight this, using the Hellions to tank as well. No targeting by Flash, and he's losing all of his tanks.
Flash is being pulled apart slowly.
Okay, a few Banshees here, though. There's no Thors nearby, and this is a problem.
Ooh, that could be really strong. Getting in those 2 Banshees, they can do a lot of damage. Again, those tanks do have +3 armor.
Exactly, and that's why it's taking so long to actually kill them, but he is pushing this back. Meanwhile, some Hellbats just going to target SCVs and ignore this planetary. Flash is down to 49 SCVs currently. Here come the Thors. They've got +3 attack, doing a lot of damage.
I wonder how many tanks went down there. It looked like there were 6 or 7 and down to about 3 or 2 there at the end of it.
Yeah, now it's 12 to 3 tanks. Flash with a massive advantage. There are about to be 6 3-3 Thors on the map. And GuMiho is basically just taking fights with these ground units. Instead of winning positional battles, he's just fighting on top of these units. But I do worry about this Thor comp. Switching into better siege tank counts and taking better trades with what's going to be better in the late game could be a much smarter choice.
Drop here with the Hellbat's not going to do all too much against the Planetary.
Just denying mining time a little bit here. Finding another way in, perhaps, with these Hellions. That base is lifted. Flash's income is weak. He's at half the income of GuMiho right now. GuMiho at 1,600 per trip, or per minute rather, to about 700 to 800.
But at the same time, Flash did gain map control. He stopped the Hellbat push over there. He secured his 5th base as well. And now he's kind of got control of the middle of the map here. He's going to begin spreading off his tanks. He needs to get some sensor towers, I think, to kind of scout these Hellions that are coming in and make sure he can just defend for now, get his economy back, and just secure himself in this game. He has a huge air advantage at this point in time.
I like what you're saying. Flash is also switching into Corvid Reactor and all those extra Ravens, something that GuMiho could afford to do gas-wise, but is just simply not. And this is not an engagement that GuMiho can take right now. With tanks coming from the right side, though, maybe he could. Hellbat's very, very slow, but they do have 3-3 upgrades, and they're going to try to burst their way through. Thor's at the back, doing so much extra damage. He's just doing Thor Hellbat. And you know what? As it turns out, that comp works.
Look at Flash in the booth. He's
It's
looking
over.
forward. That one move just lost him this game. It's so sad to say.
It's
oh
over.
My God.
Flash is not getting a top 8. It'll be a round of 16
GG.
finish again. GG. GuMiho will move on with animation. Look at his face and how happy he is.
Oh, man.
This time it is GuMiho stops the dreams of the Flash fans to getting a top 8 in GSL.
What a back and forth last game that was. Both those players had moments in time where it looked like they were going to take it. Flash, I think, you know, with a bit of a better engagement there, just not sieging up all his tanks straight into like 20 Hellbats. I think he could have possibly taken that one. He had a big switch into Ravens. He had a lot of Banshees in the sky that he could have protected with a bunch of PDDs, but just I think he just got a bit overconfident in that moment in time after securing those bases. And he saw a moment in time, he thought he had it, but fantastic engagement as well from GuMiho.
Good upgrades, and I mean, it's funny to say this, but you know, Hellbats with +3 armor tank so much that the Thors actually do have a very high ground-to-ground range. They do shoot from very far away, so if the Hellbats tank, and you can actually hit those tanks that have only +1 armor with your +3 Thors, they're going to get wiped out super fast.
Yeah. You can see Flash just shaking his head. This is going to be a moment that he remembers for a long time.
And he's not even talking to anybody. He's so frustrated. He's there alone in the booth.
Yeah. That's got to burn, man. That's a hard one to take. He made it this far. He stayed until 11:15 p.m. It started at 6:30 tonight, and he made it all the way to the final match, and he was ahead. And just kind of threw it away into the hands of GuMiho.
So many Flash fangirls saying as well to the bitter end, and no doubt he'll at least have some consoling words from them. But it is GuMiho who will be interviewed on the stage.
Yeah.
This is a victory for him. He will move on to that top 8 bracket.
Big props to GuMiho.
What the Korean commentators are calling the best meching Terran in Korea will now face Bial in the round of 8. So GuMiho is the last player to join the round of 8. Congratulations. It was a very tight match. How do you feel?
또 뭔가 얼떨떨하고요. 진짜 힘들게
I still can't believe I made it through. It was a very difficult road.
네, 오늘 정말 이 살벌한조에서 힘드시다 말씀하셨는데
So I want to advance further
힘드실 것 같습니다.
to become a champion this
마지막
season.
최종전 어떠셨어요?
최종전 되게 떨렸고요.
What do you think about the last set?
이어가지고 두 번째도 제가 심리전 앞서서 빌드 더
I won the first
가져갈
match
수 있다고
easily.
생각했거든요. 근데 오히려 그런 점에서 제가 더 밀렸던 것
I thought
같아요.
that I could take the second set easily as well,
호바도 떨렸어요.
but I kind of just gave it away.
멋진 카운터였는데 이 세트에 또 날카롭게
So I was very nervous
받았죠.
going into the third set.
이겼다고 생각이 든 순간은 언제나요?
마지막에
When do you think? When did you know that you had won the third set?
약간
네.
제가 승기 잡았다고 생각은 했었거든요.
네.
제가 시간 안
Once I had the
주고
3-3 upgrade advantage, that's when I knew I could take the win.
빈틈 무조건 만들 수 있다.
As long as I didn't give enough time and I attacked,
네.
I'd win against his army.
아주 좋았기 때문에 지금 3분 만에 8강에 올라가게 됐습니다. 정말 많이 기다리셨을 것 같은데
It's been
정말
3
감격스럽네요.
years since you advanced to the top 8
오래
of a
걸릴 줄
GSL.
몰랐어요. 처음에 4강을 되게 빨리 갔었는데
I didn't know it would take this
다시
long.
올라오게 이렇게 힘들 줄 몰랐는데 올라오게
It took me only a few months to get to the semifinals,
아쉽게 역시 그냥 떨어졌었는데
but it took me
이번에는 더 높이
3
올라가서
years to get to the round of 8 once again.
마이크 돌리주시면
This time I want to break my record and advance all the way to the GSL finals.
멋진 경기력 보여준다는 건 연습량이나 꾸준함의 증거 아닐까 싶습니다.
You must have
요즘 연습
practiced
어떻게
very
하세요?
hard for today's match to play against the strong players of your group.
선수들도 휴가 많이 가서
네.
연습하기가 되게 힘들었는데 그럼에도 불구하고 연습
After our team got knocked out of Pro League,
한재훈
a
선수랑
lot of my
김기용
teammates
선수한테
took a vacation,
고맙다고 전하고 싶고요.
so I didn't actually have very many players to practice with right now.
더 열심히 연습해야죠.
But I want to
지금 좀
thank the players who remained in the team house to help me practice.
그래요? 오늘 이신영 선수와의 경기를 보면서
But I know that I still have a lot more work to do to win in the round of 8.
경기력에 깜짝 놀랐었는데
So I'll be sticking around, practicing harder for my next match.
메카닉을 잡았습니다. 그 경기 정말 재밌었는데 어떠셨어요?
You used bio
사실
tonight.
그런 장기전 해본 적이 별로 없어요. 그냥
네.
생각만으로만 하고 있다가 실제로 해보니까
I've never actually
네.
played
메카닉이 이렇게
that many long macro Terran games in the practice house.
그래서 2, 3세트
So
제가
playing against Mech and Innovation versus Flash and Innovation, I realized it's pretty tough to play against that. It's very tiring.
저는 1세트에서 너무 멋지게 이겼기 때문에
Referring to him using
그런 게
bio
아닐까
against it.
싶은데 사실 저는 고병재 선수가 메카닉이 이렇게 강하구나 이렇게 생각할 줄 몰랐어요. 내가 메카닉을 잘 아는 만큼 그 약점을 잘 파고들겠다 생각을 하실 줄 알았는데 그런 건
So basically, you're actually very famous for using your mech play.
생각한 건 맞는데
네.
Because you're so good at mech, do you also know the weaknesses of mech of many Terrans you're playing against?
그래도 한 30분쯤에는 끝낼 수 있을 거라고 생각했는데 이신영 선수 되게
I
단단하게
thought that I
잘하셔서
knew
네.
the weaknesses of mech and Terrans, but it took a lot longer to win today. I thought I could end these games before 30 minutes, but it took a lot longer than I expected.
그래도 이신영 선수랑 했던 1세트가 솔직히 연습할 때도 그런 게임 거의 잘 안 하거든요. 그래서
네.
The
가장
first
기억에
set
남고
against Innovation was the most satisfying win of the night.
네, 정말 그 경기 내가 생각해도
I think that kind of game will never happen again.
들것 같은데 자
It's the
지금
most memorable game for me. I've never played any type of game like that, even during
그래서
practice.
이제 장점을 찍고 싶은 생각도 욕심도 들 것 같습니다. 어떠세요 이번 시즌?
네, 3년 전에 세웠던 4강.
So what's your goal for the rest of the GSL? He already said he wants to go to the finals.
땡김에 우승.
Got the semifinals 3 years ago.
8강전 솔직히 지원이가 메카닉 상대 되게 잘해가지고
I want to beat that.
열심히 준비해가지고
I want to go to the finals. Bill is a very good Zerg versus Meching Terrans. So I'm going to have to prepare well to play against
선수
him.
어떻게 준비하실까 궁금하거든요. 마지막으로 각오 들어보겠습니다.
오늘처럼 바이오닉이랑 메카닉 최대한 섞을 수 있도록 연습할
So
거고.
today I'm going to try to mix Bionic and Mech like I did today, he says, against Bill. I'm going to try to find his weakness,
주성우 선수죠.
and I'm going to try to exploit it and defeat him in our next match.
한지원이 맞군요. 제가 착각을 했어요. 죄송합니다. 자, 그러면 오늘 좋은 경기력 감사하고요. 8강전에서 좋은 모습 기대하겠습니다. 네. 자, 이렇게 마지막에
He wants to win the GSL. It would be his first GSL finals if he's able to defeat Biel and then win his round of 4 match as well.
Which I think would be against Deer or Classic.
Yes, I believe you're right. I think he's on that side of the bracket.
I mean, he's so fantastic play against Parting tonight. I think he definitely stands a chance.
He has a really good record versus Pro League as well.
I would almost even say that he stands a better chance against like Classic or Deer than he does against Biel at this point.
I have to agree. But here is our full round of 8 bracket now. Deer versus Classic, Biel versus GuMiho, Rogue and Maru, the team kill there for Generic Green Wings, and then Zest versus Innovation. A sick top 8, way better than last season.
Yeah. My top 4 is Classic, Biel, and Innovation, Rogue, probably.
I am Classic, Biel, Maru, Zest. We actually had some really different opinions today. Pretty unusual. You and I usually kind of think the same.
Well, today was a real pleasure to cast. I just have to say that. So many fantastic TVTs that we saw tonight, and they went the distance. It was a fantastic day for StarCraft
It
2.
really, really was. I haven't commentated GSL in a long time. I was glad to do it with you. Be sure to hit us up on Twitter. I'm Proxwolf. He's Brendan Valdez. We'd love to hear what you guys think about the GSL, and amongst other things, we tweet updates about what's happening Pro League, GSL, Star League, etc.
Make sure to catch Pro League this Sunday. It will be the Round 4 finals. Will be pretty slick. The telecom wars there.
Billowy going to be the starting player, so that's kind of crazy against stats. Also, if you're a Heroes of the Storm fan, HOT6's Heroes of the Storm League is also happening tomorrow.
Also, next Wednesday, you got the round of 8 matches. It is going to be Deer versus Classic and BL versus GuMiho, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, so 2 matches next week. There will also be the remaining round of 8 matches on Friday. So a ton of awesome StarCraft, and even after that, we have the Star League finals.
Yeah.
So it's going to be crazy.
You don't want to miss it. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.